Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a thriftlet video where I take items I've recently thrifted and upcycle them to something that is more my style. All of the projects on today's video are going to be pretty simple. They're also going to have a little bit of a spring theme since, it is that time of year. There is also going to be a giveaway in this video, so y'all stay tuned for that. Now, let's get started on these projects. Y'all know I love rusty, crusty kitchen items, so I'm sure it is no surprise that I had to pick these up when I saw them at the thrift store. I love IOD's Brocante transfer. It is perfect for smalls. I have used it in so many projects and I still have lots of the transfer left. I decided to use this floral one to put on the two pots, and I'm going to cut it up. That way I can kind of fit it where I want. So I'm going to put the bigger part of the flower on the bigger pot, and you just take your transfer tool that comes with your transfer and you rub it off. And y'all, this surface is very uneven. It is very rusty, and I am having no issues getting the transfer to come off. On the smaller one, I'm just going to cut up the transfer even a little bit more and piece it together. That way I can get as much of this transfer on the back of the pot as possible. Now this next step is personal preference, but I really like taking a light grit sandpaper and sanding my transfers. This just makes it feel like the transfer has always been on there. We're going to bring back some of that rust and some of that texture that are on these pots. So can y'all see the difference from the small one that I sanded and the bigger one that is not sanded? I'm also going to seal these pots with a Rust-Oleum clear coat in a matte finish. I thrifted this pot from the thrift store for, I believe, 50 cents, not much at all. And I bought it because it already had the foam in it. So all I need to do is pull out the flower, and then we're going to paint this pot. I'm going to be using the baking soda and paint mixture. It's about half baking soda and half paint. You can use any paint that you want. I've used chalk paint, latex paint, art paint. It doesn't matter. And the more baking soda you put in, the more textured it will be. So I want it to be very textured. So I'm using, like I said, half baking soda and half paint. And as you can see, it adds a ton of texture to this pot. I absolutely love this painting technique. It feels like an old piece of pottery now. Now I'm ready to fill the pot. So I purchased this sprig of lavender from Walmart, and I am just cutting the stems off. That way I can use them each individually. Now, if you have a jigsaw with a metal blade, you can cut these stems off super easy, but I'm just going to use my little wire cutting tool. And then once all your sprigs of greenery are cut, all you have to do is simply stick them into the pot because the foam is already there. Now there was a few spots where the moss was a little bit sparse and I did not have any moss on hand. So what I decided to do was just take my antiquing wax, and the areas that the bright green was showing through, I just added some antiquing wax and that did the trick. It blended in perfectly and looked great. I thrifted this metal wire basket. I'm pretty sure it's to hold golf balls, but I really like the look of it and I knew that I could do something with it. But it is just a little bit too shiny and new looking for me. So I'm going to take my antiquing wax and I am just going to rub it over the entire bucket. It really didn't take long to do this. However, if you had some brown spray paint and just wanted to spritz it on here, you would most likely get the same effect, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using what I have. Now this definitely is a little bit more my style. Now I'm going to take this basket that I also thrifted. I always pick up these size baskets when I find them because they are perfect to put stuff in, like this metal basket. And now I'm going to take it and stage it, and y'all are not even going to believe how great this is going to look. I see these little floral wall plaques at this thrift store all the time. I actually really like them. I just think they need to be updated. In this video, I'm going to show you one idea on how to very quickly update them. But if you would like to see more ideas on what to do with these floral plaques, please leave a comment below because I definitely have lots more ideas on what to do with them. Now, I absolutely loved the raised florals on here. I just don't like the yellow color of the plaque. So to fix that, all I'm going to do is apply white wax to the entire piece, and then you wipe it off. And that will totally transform the color on here. You can see the difference between the plaque that I white waxed and the one that I did not. What do y'all think? That made a huge difference, right? When I thrifted this wheelbarrow a few months ago, I knew that it would be the perfect item to transform into some spring decor. I am using Fusion paint in the color French Eggshell, which I think is the most perfect spring color. And y'all, look at the coverage on this paint. It only took me 2 coats of paint to cover up this red. And of course, I will have a link in the description below to all the products that I used in today's video. I'm just going to be painting the red. I'm going to leave the wood handles and the black part as is. I want to make some carrots to put in the wheelbarrow, so I am going to be using drop cloth and some little sprigs of greenery from Walmart. Now, no matter what size carrots you want to make, you can use these directions. I am making carrots specifically to a size that will look good in my wheelbarrow. You're just going to take 2 pieces of whatever fabric that you are using and cut it into a carrot shape. I do not use a template. I just kind of cut it organically. We're going for a farmhouse look here, so perfection is not required. And then using a hot glue gun, I am going to glue my 2 pieces of fabric together. And I stopped the hot glue about an inch to 1.5 inches from the top of my carrot. This step is not necessary, but I want to go ahead and add some little embellishments to my drop cloth carrot. So I'm going to be using the IOD typesetting stamp. I'm going to use numbers 1 through 4, and I'm just going to put some ink on the stamps and then put them on the carrot. Now the number 1, I realized I had put it way too high on the carrot. So once I scrunched it up and finished the carrot, it would kind of mess up the 1. So I just turned it over and did the other side, so y'all don't look at the other side of the 1 if y'all come to my house. And I'm going to put these lower, and you'll see in the end why they need it to be lower. So just keep in mind the final project when you are stamping. I am not going to be turning my carrots inside out because I really want that raw rustic edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and stuff my carrots. It takes very little stuffing to stuff these tiny carrots, and you just want to use a pencil or something to kind of help get the stuffing all the way to the end. Then I'm going to take 1 sprig of greenery. This I got from Walmart. I believe it's $1, and I think it is just the perfect greenery for the tops of these carrots. To finish off the carrots, I'm just going to add a little hot glue to keep everything in place, and then I'm going to wrap some jute rope around the top a bunch of times for added texture and cuteness, and then these carrots are done. I purchased this cute wood box from the thrift store for 50 cents, and it is the perfect blank slate to really do anything to. I'm going to be using the IOD wings and feathers mold to embellish this box. Whenever you are using a mold, you just want to dust it with some cornstarch. That way your air dry clay pops out easy and does not stick to your mold. I am using IOD's air dry clay. You simply just put the clay into your mold and then you take your finger and rub off the excess, and then your piece should pop out really easy. On the right side of the mold, they have these kind of feather flowery details, and they have them in 4 different sizes. So my plan is just to make a bunch of molds like this and then kind of arrange them on the box. So I'm just going to kind of play with it and move it around until I get the arrangement that I want. That's the great thing about the clay, is it's not permanently attached to the box yet, so I can keep moving stuff around until it looks pleasing to me. I kind of wanted this asymmetrical flowery thing happening on the top. Once I have it arranged the way that I want, and also I want to note that you can layer these molds as well. So some I have on top, some I have on bottom. I just want to give it lots of dimension and lots of texture. Now I'm going to come in with Gorilla Glue and I'm just going to attach it. I'm not going to pull the whole piece up. I'm just going to pull up a little bit and make sure it is glued down. I'm going to be painting this. So with the combination of a little bit of glue and the paint, these molds will not be coming off this box. Now we are ready to paint. You can let your molds dry overnight. I just let mine dry a few hours before I started painting. I want to add different layers of color here. I'm going to be using Fusion Paint in the color French Eggshell, which I think is such a great French country shabby chic color, and I'm also going to be adding some pink. I'm trying to be very random with it and just add it in different spots throughout the box. Once those colors have dried, I want to come in with some antique gold rub and buff, and I just want to put it on the highlights of my mold. So I'm just going to lightly rub my brush across the mold, and it is just going to go over and pick up on all those highlights. Now, if you really love gold, you could absolutely do this step last and the gold would be more prominent, but I want my gold to be a little more muted. So I'm going to do this step now, and I'm also going to put the rub and buff on all the hardware on this piece. That way, all the gold tones are the same. Now that I have all 3 colors on, I want to come back with some white chalk paint, and I am going to cover the entire box. I ended up doing 3 coats of paint. However, on the molds, I went very light because I didn't want to put too much paint on there because I want to rub back a lot of those colors and details. Oh my gosh, y'all, I am loving the way that this is looking so far. So now what we want to do is bring back some of those colors that we covered up with the white paint. On just the wood part, I'm going to use 220 grit sandpaper and sand it down. This is going to bring back not only that blue and that pink paint, but it's also going to bring back some of the wood tones of the box. Now, you don't want to use sandpaper on your molds. You can sand them, but it's going to bring it back down to the clay color, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do on the molds is I'm going to wet distress it with a paper towel or a napkin, or you could use a baby wipe, and bring back all the gold details that I put on these molds. Now, I was going for a more aged, worn, distressed look. So that's why I put the gold first and then came over with the white, and I'm distressing it back. But like I said earlier in the video, if you really want your gold details to pop, then I would put on the gold last and they'll be nice and bright and shiny. I'm just going to continue to distress this piece until it looks exactly like I want it to look. There's really no right or wrong way. And even if you feel like you've distressed too much, you can go back and add a little bit of white paint. You really cannot mess this up. I thrifted this hat because I absolutely love the shape of it, the texture of it, and the color of it. And I knew that it would be perfect to add floral to. I'm just going to take this lavender that I purchased from Walmart and I'm going to cut sprigs off of it and just weaving it in the basket, and also with the help of the hot glue, I'm just going to attach it around the hat until I like the way that it looks. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. You can just keep adding until you like the way that it looks. You could also add ribbon or fabric. I just decided to stick with just the lavender sprigs. I love the way that this project turned out. It was so quick and easy and the perfect thing to add to any decorative hook in your home. I love the size of these canvases that I've thrifted. They are very chunky, so you could either hang them on the wall or they would be the perfect shelf sitters. I just want you to think of these as a blank canvas that you can do whatever you want to. You can paint it whatever color, you can add whatever you want to it. So I decided to paint these in the color French eggshell, and it only took me one coat of paint to cover these. And then I decided to go back with some white wax because I just really wanted some of that canvas texture to show through. I purchased this rug from IKEA. I believe it was $2.99. I absolutely love the texture on it, and I cut it in half and used it for a runner for Christmas, and now I'm going to reuse it for this DIY. So I'm cutting out a little 4" by 4" square, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the center of my canvas. I wanted to create lots of texture and lots of layers on this artwork. So we have the texture and the color of the canvas, then we have the texture and the colors of the square mats, and now we are adding the texture and the color of these cute little IOD bird molds. I used air dry clay and I'm going to be gluing these to the mats. You just want to make sure that the texture of your mats is facing the same direction. I am not going to be painting these birds because I love the white color and the texture of the clay. And like I said, I just want lots of layers and lots of texture in this art piece. So I think it is perfect as is. I thrifted this picture because I loved all the raised details on it, and when I purchased it, I knew exactly what I was going to do to it. The baking soda and paint mixture is the perfect thing to add to these pictures with these raised floral details. They look so great, not only year round, but especially for spring. I'm using a mixture of half baking soda and half paint. Of course, the more baking soda you add, the more textured it will be. And if you want to add even more texture, you could use a chip brush like I am using. And also, once you apply the paint, you could let it dry for about 5 minutes and then go back over it with your brush, and that'll add even more texture. I'm going to apply 2 coats of paint to this, and then I'm going to seal it with Rust-Oleum clear coat in a flat finish. Alright guys, what did y'all think about today's video? Please leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite project. Okay, I did not forget about the giveaway. Did y'all see all of that beautiful lavender that I used throughout the video? If you want a chance to win a couple sprigs of this, all you need to do to be entered into the giveaway is live in the United States, you need to comment on this video, you need to share this video, and also do not forget to give it a thumbs up. I will announce the winner of the giveaway on the community tab of YouTube next week. So if you want this, don't forget, comment, like, and share. Once again, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all next week.